So I've been using the Insta360 X5 for a year now, and I'm finally going to do a review. Even though it's been a year, I'm not the kind of person who reviews something the week they get it. I want to show you all of the best shots that I've created with this camera over the past year. I want to go through really what it's like to use, compare a bit to the competition, and now that the camera's been out for around a year, is it still worth it? Is there anything else coming up? And just generally, is it, well, the best 360 camera on offer right now? So most of my favorite shots that I created with this camera have been when I've been traveling. That's the kind of thing I do with these cameras. I'm more of a travel, vlogging kind of guy, rather than the action shots, the skiing and snowboarding, that kind of stuff. However, I do some editing for other people, for Insta360 as well, so I have edited footage that they've sent me. So you can also see some examples of those kinds of shots here, but these are some of my favorite shots I created with the X5. And you know what? It's actually not that difficult to create these kinds of videos once you get your head around the camera. So pretty much the headline specs of the X5 when it came out was the fact it could shoot 8K video, which wasn't that unusual because the previous one could as well, but the sensors were upgraded. There was also a night mode called Pure Video. There was also a mode that didn't require any editing, called Instaframe. So I guess that was kind of a challenge to say that these cameras are quite difficult to use, quite difficult to edit. Insta360 kind of trying to innovate, trying to make it so that you don't have to do much editing. I wouldn't say they completely succeeded there, but it was a step in the right direction. As far as how I think the video looks in terms of quality, color, dynamic range, that kind of stuff, these cameras have come a long way in the 8 or 9 years I've been using them now, but they're never going to match up to something like this, a dedicated single lens action camera. The video is always going to look better on these than these. However, I will say that with the right settings, the right environments, and the right editing, you can get some really stunning shots with your X5. But you do have to consider that it's 360, you are filming with 2 lenses, and there's a lot going on. So you're never going to get the ultra high quality you can sometimes get with even small action cameras, but I am satisfied with what I can do with the X5. I am much more interested in the creativity rather than the sharpness. However, that is going to be up to you to decide. But there are some competitors on the market now. So how does the X5 compare in terms of quality to those? Well, I did do a comparison some time ago, tinkered with the software occasionally, but the raw quality is going to be pretty similar. You can take a look here at what you think, and I have a full video with 3-way side-by-side comparison if you want to check that out, but here are some examples. I generally found that the X5 didn't perform the best, but there wasn't a huge difference, and I think in some ways the color technology is a bit better, especially compared to the DJI, which often had a yellowish tinge to it, but the DJI Osmo 360 probably the highest quality in terms of sharpness. And I found the GoPro Max also to be pretty good as well across the board, but awful in low light, whereas the X5 performed really well in low light. So in terms of quality, that's pretty much the summary. But like I said, these cameras are not about, creating the sharpest, clearest images. It's about what you can do with them creatively. And this is where the X5 has really shined. But is there much difference between the previous versions? Not hugely. You can do the same things with this as you could with the other versions, the X4, the X3, etc. But there is a little bit more quality, as I said to it, with the improved sensors and the pure video mode, which does work quite well at night, I must say. You do have to use this pure video mode with a pinch of salt. Don't expect it to perform well in really dark conditions with no artificial light, but in bright city lights, it really does help get that difference between the light and the dark and really make everything look very crisp. One major new innovation which really did set the X5 apart when it was announced and released is the lenses, which are now replaceable. This was a big new feature because basically the worst thing about 360 cameras before this is how easily these lenses would break or get scratched, and it was really difficult to replace, expensive, took a long time, and the camera was worthless as soon as a little crack or scratch got on these sensors. But now the X5 has fully replaceable lenses, so you can buy some fairly cheap replacements, replace them yourself, which is absolutely great and still a great feature. However, GoPro with their GoPro Max did kind of outplay them here a bit because cameras. Not only is the GoPro Max lenses replaceable, but they don't require any extra equipment. You just use your hands and replace them, whereas the X5 does require some equipment and a little kit and is a little bit more fiddly. It makes it so much more safe to use for these kinds of videos you're seeing here, like skiing and snowboarding and cycling, skating, anything where the camera may fall on the ground and get smashed. It's not the end of the world now. Now, I would say what truly sets Insta360 apart slightly from the other camera makers, perhaps the other camera makers have some slightly more advanced hardware. What sets Insta360 apart is the software that comes with the camera, the app, the desktop app, even the software inside the camera itself is just leagues ahead of the competition right now. Now, this can be a good and a bad thing. It's good if you know what you're doing and you've used these cameras for a while and you have the time to learn the app and everything it can do, but it can also be a little overwhelming. There is a lot of options in there. So yeah, that is a upside and a downside, but Insta360 has also incorporated some automatic editing features. It does make using these cameras easier, but you're never going to get the kinds of really unique shots you see on Instagram, TikTok, on my channel, this kind of stuff I do that all manually, and that is really how you're going to have to get to know these cameras if you want to recreate the kind of shots that you see like here. And there's just so much more there than the competitors. What I wish this camera had was a bit more flexibility in terms of frame rate, and I'm hoping that comes with the next iteration of the camera. You can shoot 4K at 120 frames per second, which is great, but the 4K is a big reduction in resolution once you reframe. Slow motion and 360 work really well together. I really want to see an 8K 50 or 60 frame per second option next time, so at least we can have half slow motion with the full 8K resolution. This really is the only 360 camera where I feel comfortable going out shooting something, and then I know that as long as I have my phone, I could instantly edit and create that content, put it on Instagram within the same 20 minutes that I shot it in. Because the app is so advanced and has so many features, I know what I can shoot and I know I'm going to be able to edit it and get it online straight away. This is also the 360 camera with the most amount of accessories. I mean, there are literally there must be over 100 for literally every kind of thing you can think of doing. I personally have used the dive case, I've used the bike mounts, I've used the microphones. There's also obviously very many types of invisible selfie sticks, which are very important, but more importantly, they're very long ones, small ones that can fold up. If you need one accessory, get one of these in whatever form you can, because that is how you create this invisible floating camera effect. The biggest ecosystem for 360 cameras exists with this camera. So if you know you're going to be doing loads of different stuff, then that needs to be taken into account. I would say my main gripe with the camera, and to be fair, this is the same for most 360 cameras, is the poor battery life, especially when shooting at the max resolution and frame rates. Unfortunately, the camera just does run hot, and especially in summer, it can run the battery down pretty quickly. You can get larger batteries now that last a bit longer, but yeah, you're going to have to bring a charger or buy multiple batteries if you're going to be out shooting all day. In terms of audio, I mentioned microphone there, but in terms of audio, the X5 actually performs really well thanks to a multitude, I think 3 microphones, one with a wind guard at the front. As long as you're shooting maybe like this, maybe a meter away with a selfie stick, the onboard microphones will actually be okay. If you're going to be shooting any further away or you want really crisp audio, then the external microphones the Insta360 sells are going to be necessary. But honestly, the onboard mic is pretty good for a camera of this size. It should also be noted that this camera, and to be fair, the other cameras as well, but this camera can also shoot single lens video with just one of these lenses. And I'm going to tell you now that I never ever do that. So I know this is touted as like a selling point, and I'm sure it is. It makes the camera like a 2-in-1, a 360 camera and a normal action camera with the single lens mode shooting 4K, I believe, 4K, 30 frames per second. But if I don't want to use 360 and I want to shoot something else, I'll just use my phone because the phone's going to be way better. So I don't know. If other people use that, great. It's not something that I've found necessary to use, and probably something that I'm not going to use in the future. Okay guys, so that is it. I don't want to bombard you with anything else. I'm more just giving my vibes here. I'm assuming you kind of know what the camera is and what it does. So I just wanted to give a kind of summary of what I've been using in the past year. Obviously, I make a lot of videos on Insta360 cameras, but honestly, I do not have the time, the patience to be trying to sell it. I'm really just giving my honest opinion here. It probably is still the top camera to buy right now, 360 camera wise. It's not technically the best in terms of specs, but in terms of ease of use and things you can do, it's the one I would recommend. The others are really good as well, but they have a while to catch up in terms of software. So yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. I think maybe the X6 might be coming out soon, who knows? But until then, I will obviously still keep making tutorials and guides and content with this camera, so stay tuned if you want to see more. Until then, I'll see you around. Bye.